Well, Nick, we made it. It is the postseason here at Bourne Park. A 36-game regular season has brought us to this. Welcome into Before the Bravos Playoff Edition. Let's do it before we forget. Playoff Edition handshake. There we go. We are ready to roll for the postseason. I couldn't be more excited. Let's just start real quick. We don't have a lot of time. We started late. There was a lot of pregame, festivities we had to be a part of. But let's just start off real quick with the matchup. Cotuit, a team that the Braves have gone really back and forth with all season. 5-game series. The Braves won the regular season slate 3-2. But now when you look at the postseason, what do you think of the matchup? What do you think of the draw for the Braves?
This is the best possible matchup for the West Division. I think you choose any two teams in the West Division that are going to have a heavyweight battle. It's these two teams, and these are the two teams that are going to provide you with the best baseball. So I think they both deserve to be here, especially with the way Cotuit's played over the last week and a half. They've been fantastic, especially offensively. And I mean, I just have no idea what's going to happen. I mean, we're definitely going to see some fireworks over the next 3 days.
We are in for a wild ride. It's going to be a great atmosphere. The crowd is already the biggest, I believe, of the season so far, and it's still filling in. The Braves faithful is obviously out in droves. The Cotuit fans love to travel too, so it is going to be a big-time atmosphere here at Bourne Park. Let's start on the mound. Let's go with Michael Sansone, who the Braves are throwing out tonight in Game 1 of the series. The left-hander was special. His ERA was chilling under 1 at .78 heading into his last start against Wareham. Got roughed up a little bit. He came back to earth a bit. 3 innings pitched, gave up 4 runs, but before that was so darn good. How much faith do you have in Sansone tonight in Game 1?
I think what gives me the most faith in Sansone tonight is this is the first time Cotuit has seen him.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
When Michael Sansone faces an opponent for the first time, he is fantastic. He's very, very good. His stats are very strong. As you mentioned, only time he got roughed up was that Wareham game. That was his second appearance against the Gatemen. So Cotuit, yeah, you can game plan for Sansone all you want, but once you're in that batter's box, seeing that change up for the first time, good luck hitting it because it's not easy. That's the big thing for Sansone tonight, first time against this Cotuit team.
The Braves getting their 2021 Cape Cod League West Division Postseason Cup, their 8th of their team's history, the 7th under Coach Shapiro. So that's something to celebrate, but that's not the end goal for this team. The end goal for this team is winning the entire Cape Cod League Championship, and that starts tonight against Cotuit. Let's break down the lineup here. As you look at Coach Harvey Shapiro's starting 9, there was some question marks on who would be leading off, who would be hitting 6th, where Ben Huber would be, where Colby Thomas would be. I'll fill you in. I'll give you 1 to 9 of the Braves lineup right now. It looks like this. Christian Knapczyk, who started the season at shortstop, has been primarily a second baseman down the stretch. He's there tonight, leading off playing at second base. Max Anderson is at third base, hitting second. Dalton Rushing is over at first base tonight, hitting third. The shortstop, Tanner Schobel, stays in that number 4 spot. He's cleaning up tonight, hitting fourth. Joe Lampe, who we saw a lot in the number 1 spot, hitting 5th, the team leader in on-base percentage. Really likes to get on base, hopefully in a second leadoff hitter, maybe out of the number 5 spot. Break the lineup in half, 1 to 4, 5 to 9. Joe Lampe in center field hits 5th. Ben Huber is the designated hitter tonight, hitting 6th, the guy who we've seen catch fire as he was a late addition to the Braves. In 2 of his 4 games this season, he has had multi-hit performances. He's hitting 6th. Hunter Jump, who's just 1 for 18, but we think is going to get some balls in the grass. He's been hitting it hard, has been unlucky, but he's in the lineup in left field hitting 7th. Colby Thomas is in right field hitting 8th, and then Peter Burns, the defensive weapon behind the plate, doing the catching, hits 9th.
2 guys I'm looking at tonight, or I have a few that I'm looking at, but 2 to start off, Knapczyk and Lampe, a couple of guys that are kind of interchangeable as leadoff hitters. It's going to be interesting to see how they do tonight. You have Lampe down the middle of the lineup, kind of as you had said, that second leadoff hitter, so that's going to be big. Great OBP from him. Another guy I'm looking for, Ben Huber. I mean, it's as simple as that. One of the newest additions on this team, and he's been a great run producer. He's one of these guys that's going to need to fill in for guys like Braylon Wimmer earlier in the season, a guy like Reggie Crawford that we saw before Team USA. But you need run producers on this team. Huber's been one so far. Let's see what he does tonight.
Harvey Shapiro getting an award, too. Did they say Manager of the Year? Did you hear that?
Yeah.
That's on the Bourne Braves this year.
Harvey Shapiro getting awarded here. The Braves are getting awards here. The Braves looking to get Game 1. That'd be the biggest award of the season.
You've come this far. Finish the job.
Against the Cotuit Kettleers. Let's just look at this season. Step back a bit. How important is Game 1? You don't want to go to Lowell Park down 1-0.
Dare I say, tonight is the season. I mean, it is.
Wow.
It is. It could happen tomorrow where Bourne loses this game and wins tomorrow. But odds are fully against them if you drop Game 1. You head to Cotuit tomorrow, where I've heard there's going to be upwards of 4,000 people at that game. You go to Cotuit tomorrow, down 0-1 at Lowell Park, a place where you have some bad memories there, both this season and historically. It's tough.
Wow.
It's really tough.
Well, luckily the Braves have Game 1 and Game 3 at home. That's a good thing. The bad thing is, if Cotuit finds a way to steal Game 1, they have Game 2 with the home faithful with a chance to make it to the Cape Cod League Finals. So Game 1 is immense here tonight at Doran Park.
It's the season.
You can make that case. So as I got you here, we're wrapping up before the Bravos. Give me your key to success for tonight.
I'm going to say the same thing that I said on the podcast. If you haven't listened to that, go check it out.
Absolutely.
It's on YouTube.
After the game, of course.
After the game. And that is to limit leadoff base runners, because we know Mike Roberts loves to be aggressive on the base paths, loves to do these funky things reaching into his bag of tricks. You limit leadoff base runners, that limits what he can do on the base paths. That limits situational things that he can do. Ideally, you love to get 2 outs right out of the gate and then allow a base runner if you need to. Ideally, 27 up, 27 down. But, hey.
That's the ideal situation.
That is the ideal situation.
Beating around the bush here.
I know, but if you can limit those early base runners and innings, I think that's the big thing, and that'll lead more to success. You got to limit what Mike Roberts can do with his team.
What about this Cotuit offense? They are flying high right now. Do you think those first inning base runners has been the key to their excellent 66 runs across their last 7 games?
I think that, just timely hitting, power in general,
Yep.
just kind of next guy up, keep the train moving. That's what they've been doing. But, yeah, that definitely plays a role in it when you can get in teams' heads on the base paths and kind of have them confused as to what you're going to do next. And if pitchers are thinking about the base runners too, a lot of the focus gets taken off the batter, and that makes for worse pitches that are catching too much of the zone, and that's kind of led this Cotuit team to their offensive surge.
Well, when I talked to Coach Harvey Shapiro pregame, you can check that interview out right now on YouTube. It's about 2.5 minutes. My conversation with Coach Shapiro before the game. He gave me 3 keys. I asked him for 1. He gave me 3. He said, good pitching, solid defense, which is something against this Cotuit team that is uber important. The last time the Braves were there, they had 3 errors that were listed. Really could have had.
They gave Cotuit 6 outs that one.
They really could have had 4 or 5. Clean defense and timely hitting, because it feels like at points of the season, the Achilles heel for this Braves team has been the inability to bring runners home with guys in scoring position in less than 2 outs.
No doubt. Yeah, the defense is so big because at the beginning of the year it was so strong you didn't even kind of realize it, that it was a huge thing because the plays were just being made. As soon as they stopped getting made, you're like, oh, my God. Once again, we realize defense is very important in baseball. It's one of those. Defense is one of those things. If you do it right, no one kind of notices. If you do it wrong, you notice, and it usually results in a few losses. So.
Especially against a team that is as scrappy and has as much team speed against the Kettleers. It should be an excellent night here at Doran Park. It should be a really, really fun series. But when you look at Game 1, I gave you the lineup. I'm going to need your pick to pop.
I'm going to go with Joe Lampe because I've been talking with him throughout the entire week. And this guy, he's been ready for this for, I'd say, the entire season. He has been ready for this moment. And he's rearing to go. I like him in the 5. I like him lead off, but I like him in the 5 spot too. And he just makes things happen.
Well, batting practice today was pushed back because they had to do some field work after the rain last night. Joe Lampe was getting extra batting practice with Coach KG when I showed up at 3 o'clock, so that's a great pick. I'm going to go with Tanner Chadoba, lefty-righty matchup.
I like it.
Him hitting in that 4 spot, had a great end of the year, so I think he could have a really big night. In a game where the Bravos need to get, Nick, it should be a lot of fun. Your final word.
It's going to be great. I'm going to say my final word. If this does hopefully it doesn't. If it happens to be our last home game on camera, it's been a pleasure working with you this year. I've loved every second of it. I know. I've loved every second of it. You've been great to work. We make fun of each other a lot, but he's been great to work with. Reeves and Daniel, the best. Ellie and Joe are the best. Game day ops people, the best. Really the best organization in general. Jenna Beth, Nicole, Darren, everyone.
I couldn't
Jeff,
agree more.
Megan, even Megan. I'm saying Megan.
The pleasure's been all mine, Nick. Thanks so much. Hopefully
we're
have
back.
1, more of these before the Bravos, but Daniel and Reeves has the call on the other side. It's game one of the 2021 Cape Cod League playoffs. Enjoy the game, everybody.
Kara and her husband Pedro, with their children Lily and Michael, are the host families for Austin Parsley.
Good evening, folks. It's the time we have all been waiting for, playoff baseball at Doran Park. The stage is set, the two teams are squaring off, and the time is now. All since this beginning of the summer, we have been waiting for this exact moment. It is here before us on a picture-perfect day in Bourne, Massachusetts. Reeves, it's good to have you alongside me. We've been waiting for this moment ever since early July when we got our first loss of the season. We knew the playoffs, and we were on to a collision course for the playoffs. They're here now, and it's against the Cotuit Kettleers, who we know very well, and who a team that really has had our number this season. We're 3-2. We slightly have the advantage. Really, the big advantage, though, in this series has been home field.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. I think you really hit the nail on the head right there. And obviously, when you start as hot as the Braves did this season, there was really no question that the Braves were going to make the playoffs. But the entire question that we were looking to find throughout the remainder of the season was who was going to join the Braves in that playoff spot. Falmouth and Wareham were making it close with Cotuit for a while, and it seemed like for a while Cotuit was not going to be that team. They weren't playing their best baseball, but a 5-game winning streak in which they scored 55 runs in 5 games.
Coupled that with a loss 13-1 to the Braves, in which that was a big momentum getter. We'll talk about that here shortly, obviously. And then obviously, Daniel, they put 10 runs on YD in the season finale. Obviously, the games were rained out on Wednesday, so no one played in the Cape League. But 66 runs in their final 7 games, the best offense by far in the CCPL.
And I was going to just mention that 66 runs in the last 7 games. The only game where they really were shut down was just a few days ago here at Doran Park, and that was Jasic's first outing for the Braves. Here tonight we have Michael Sansone. He is the leader in the win column throughout all the pitchers in the Cape League playoffs as of now. 4-0, coming into his 7th game and his 4th game started. He has only been on an upward trajectory throughout this entire season for the Fairfield Stag on the mound.
Yeah, he has been, and obviously he's been one of the Braves' best pitchers. That's why he's getting the ball in the Friday night game 1 of the postseason. You look at Sansone's year, and the only blemish was his last start. So obviously something to prove for Sansone, who's proved a lot this season. Gave up 2 home runs to Wareham. In that first inning, Jim Jarvis, the left-hander, went over the right field wall, and then the right-hander, Jack Brannigan from Notre Dame, hit a home run over the left field wall. So for Sansone, the thing you have to watch for in this game, and the thing he has to limit, is the home run ball. He's only given up 6 runs on the season in over 20 innings of work, 26 to be exact. And of those 6 runs, 5 of those runs have been from a home run ball. Obviously gave up 1 to Anthony Hall in Falmouth, gave up 1 to Lyle Miller-Green, and then Jack Brannigan and Jim Jarvis. There's 5 of 6 runs on 4 home runs he's allowed. So if he's able to limit the long ball, he's in for a treat of an outing here this afternoon.
And if you want to shut down the Cotuit Kettleers, one thing is for sure, you have to shut down Jace Grady. He's on an 8-game hit streak, and he will start at the top of the order for the Cotuit Kettleers. Michael Sansone from the stretch. Baseball in the postseason of the Cape League is underway. Fastball missing high for Sansone, and as you were saying, really the deep ball is what has got him and what has blemished his stats.
Yeah, absolutely. Still, you look at that one blemish in a 4-run outing in 3 innings his last outing, a 2.07 ERA for Sansone. As you mentioned, all season long, he's been really the ace of this staff. He had back-to-back 5-inning scoreless outings against Wareham and Chatham coming into that last start. And for Sansone, as you mentioned, the most wins coming into the CCBL playoffs. Obviously was an all-star this past season. He's done everything and now gets the ball for the Braves in a bit of unfamiliar territory for Sansone. In 6 outings this season, Daniel, all of them have been on the road. You look at from Game 1, June 25th for him, all the way to his last start, July 31st, at Harwich, at Falmouth, at Chatham, at Wareham, at Chatham again, at Wareham again. His first start at home and already behind in the count, 3-0.
3-0, he finds the zone, 3-1.
Obviously, you're going to have playoff nerves. I mean, this crowd here is phenomenal, and it's just going to be continuing to file in. And, boy, are we happy to have you along with us for some postseason baseball, everyone at home.
We most certainly are. 3-1, and a first batter walked for Michael Sansone on 5 pitches. Jace Grady makes his way down to first behind him in the lineup, Carter Trice, who has 2 for his last 26.
Yeah, 9 strikeouts in that span. That's just an 0.77 average. So for Sansone, look, you never want to walk the leadoff hitter of the game, but that's not a big deal. You look at what Jace Grady's been doing. You mentioned an 8-game hitting streak, a 5-game multi-game hit streak, and just has 1 strikeout in his last 30 at-bats, a guy who's seeing the ball extremely well. So this is what Cotuit's going to do a lot today. They're going to be showing bunt. They're going to be playing ABC baseball.
Swing and a miss. Small ball baseball has really hurt the starting pitchers for the Braves. Infield singles, oftentimes the error, and the error column is something that you have to keep an eye on, need to keep a clean sheet for the Braves. Another swing and a miss. Sansone feeling good. Might be seeing that changeup he's known about.
And look, no one runs more in the CCBL other than Brewster than Mike Roberts' Cotuit Kettleers. On the season, 50 for 66 in stolen bases. They've only been caught 16 times. That's quite a good percentage when you run 66 times. Only team that they're behind is, like I mentioned, the Brewster Whitecaps, and Jace Grady, a perfect 5 for 5 in stolen bases this season. So Mike Roberts loves to run. He's one of the best base running coaches there is in the entire nation. And then you have a team that loves to bunt, but a 2-strike count here.
0-2. A good stop from Peter Burns. Jace Grady remains on first after a pickoff move and a good tag from Dalton Rushing. Max Anderson at third, Tanner Schobel at short, Christian Knapczyk at second, Dalton Rushing at first. Again, a lineup and a defensive setup that really is primed for a clean sheet in the error column. It's exactly how you and I would have set up this defensive stand.
Yeah, absolutely, without a doubt. You know, we have Max Anderson over at third. We'll run through the defensive lineup right now. Hunter Jump in left field. Joe Lampy's out in center. And right field is Colby Thomas. Third to first for the Braves. Max Anderson, Tanner Schobel, Christian Knapczyk, and Dalton Rushing. And obviously behind the plate, and he may be behind the plate for all 3 games of the series, Peter Burns.
1-2 hit up to Schobel. He's got him at second. And at first, bases cleared off a 6-4-3 double play. Michael Sansone bailed out early.
Listen, what did we talk about was the key for the Braves? Although they lost 13-2 at Cotuit, they turned 3 double plays in that game, and over the course of the past few games, they've turned 2 double plays. A team in the past week that has turned 5 double plays. It's been a pitcher's best friend for a team that wasn't turning any of those twin killers, and now Michael Sansone gets one on the second batter.
We'll talk about an optimal ground ball right towards Tanner Schobel, flicked over to Knapczyk, who gunned it over to his college teammate, Dalton Rushing. The Louisville Cardinals, as I mentioned, at the plate, need to get the bats going if we want to be successful at the top of the order. 1-0 to the 3-spot Ryan Ritter. He leads the team in average. Did he go? Fell down check swing. They say he didn't. 2-0 quickly.
Yeah, I got our umpiring rotation force as well. Home plate umpire tonight, Nicky Garcia. Over there at first base is Sparky Burns. At second base is Tom Ryberg. And at third base is Mike Rabideau. So obviously 4 umpires for the Cape League playoffs, and happy to have all of those fantastic crew members along with us.
2-0 fouled.
Look, this is Ryan Ritter, a guy who won Hitter of the Year on a Cotuit team that led the league in runs scored with 197. And Ryan Ritter only is on an 11-game hitting streak right now in which, get this, 18 for 36 in that span. That's an even .500 average.
Sansone dealing from the stretch. A big swing from Ritter, no success.
And you know,
Reeves, how about the crowd here today? I have to imagine this is record-breaking numbers for Doran Park. They received 3 different, actually I should say 4 different awards pregame that we'll discuss after this inning, but really resembles and represents the success that the Braves have had this 2021 summer season. Full count.
Yeah, obviously they won Manager of the Year, Harvey Shapiro. Let's go personal awards for us. Manager of the Year, Harvey Shapiro. Relief Pitcher of the Year, Eric Adler. And then for the team awards, best record in the league, they get the President's Trophy from Charles Sturdivant, the Cape League President and Western Division Champion, the Cup, as you can call it.
Slow chopper over to Schobel. The bare hand, the throw, not in time. He had to go across his body in an infield single for Ryan Ritter.
Yeah, now make it 12 games in a row for Ryan Ritter dating back to the regular season. A Cotuit team that was 6 games under 500 going into the final 2 weeks of the year. They go on that 5-game winning streak. They end up finishing 18-17-1. Kind of a shocker they only had 1 tie, but for Bourne, you think about it, they had 3 ties, and that felt like in, a week span, and then didn't tie the rest of the year. So very interesting seasons for both of these squads, and now they meet here in the postseason, and you got to deal with one of the best 3-4 duos and one of the best middle infield duos in the Cape League with Ritter on first and now Eric Brown Jr.
First pitch swinging foul.
Yeah, EBJ, we talked about the numbers for Ryan Ritter have been fantastic. Not too far behind him is Eric Brown from Coastal Carolina. He's hit safely in 6 of his last 7 and 12 for 28 in that span. That's good for a .428 average. So the 3-4 guys, Daniel, they really carried this team offensively outside of Jace Grady.
The man on first, a 2-out infield single. Swing and a miss again. 0-2, and Sansone looks comfortable early on.
Look, this is Sansone's first outing against the Kettleers. You know what you're going to get if you're a Bourne Braves fan, if you're watching at home.
And Reeves, and for you at home, this is his first start at Doran Park.
Yeah, first appearance in Doran.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy to think about.
He's going to come at you, though, 86 to 88 on the fastball, nothing special. His changeup's going to be 76, 78, but that is his best pitch, and there's no doubt about it. And obviously after that, you have his slider that's coming in at about 78, 79. So with Sansone, he's going to give you the kitchen sink with those off-speed pitches. He's probably going to go with the changeup here to Brown if I had to guess.
High line drive. Looks like it's going deep to left. Jumping up in the catch from Hunter Jump.
Wow.
Looked like it might have saved a 2-run shot, and Michael Sansone gets out of the top of the first with a 6-4-3 double play and an impressive flyout Caught by Hunter Jump. To the bottom of the first we go at Doran Park. The first game of best of 3 in the West Division. Number 1 versus number 2. The Cotuit Kettleers scoreless, and the Braves with the bats first in the bottom of the first. Welcome back, everyone. Michael Sansone gets bailed out early. A bomb from Ritter caught and a double play right up the middle. Eric Brown, I should say. Ritter stranded on first, but we are going to have our chance in the batter's box from the bottom of the first in a prime and what I would say maybe the best lineup we've seen all season.
With the group that we have, without a doubt.
With the group that we have. 1 to 9, we have Christian Knapczyk, Max Anderson, Dalton Rushing, Tanner Schobel, Joe Lampe, Ben Huber, Hunter Jump, Colby Thomas, and Peter Burns. And Reeves, if you're looking up and down this batting order, who's a guy that needs to pop off and who's a guy that you think is crucial to have a good game in the batter's box?
I think it's Max Anderson, the tool hitter for the Braves here today, as Knapczyk digs. And I think Max Anderson, I mean, you look at his home numbers, 2 homers, 4 RBIs over his last 3 games, and a .345 average at home. Nick Galley did a great job highlighting that earlier, as he always does on social media, talking about trends, and Nick's the best at it. But for Max Anderson, I think, continue your hot hitting at home. He's going to be the key to the success for the Braves today, and they're going against a pretty darn good lefty in Stanford product, Quinn Matthews.
Chopped up the middle. Christian Knapczyk looking to beat it out. The throw in time from Ritter. A very Christian Knapczyk-esque infield chopper that oftentimes he beats out, unable to beat the throw from Ritter. Up the middle, some of the 2 best defensive infielders you're going to see in Ryan Ritter at short, Eric Brown at second.
Yeah, and here's Max Anderson. This is the guy I think that drives the Braves' offensive success. But we'll take a look at Quinn Matthews. We'll introduce you to him first. Matthews, no record on the year, 1.55 ERA. This is his 5th game appeared in. Made all 4 of his appearances starts in the regular season. 22 strikeouts and 11 walks for Matthews, over 17 in a third inning. So he's going to strike a lot of hitters out, Daniel, but he's also going to issue free passes. He issued at least 2 walks in all 4 of his outings. His walks from his first start to his last start, 3, 4, 2, and then 2. Longest outing is last start, 6 innings against the Gatemen.
Down goes Anderson to the Stanford product on the mound, and 2 outs just like that for Cotuit.
So Matthews, fastball, changeup, slider. You saw the changeup right there. That was an excellent pitch. A 3-pitch pitcher's fastball's not going to blow you away like Sansone's, 88 to 91, but he locates incredibly well. And now you got maybe the hottest hitter on the Braves team in rushing.
Well, he looks at a breaking ball that drops short in the dirt. He leads the team in home runs with 6.
Yeah,
he is a power hitter, that's for sure. He also has a batting average, Reeves, of .314, as well as an RBI total of 24. That's the best on the team.
Yeah, obviously for rushing, too. He's hit safely in 7 of his last 8. It's a common trend among a lot of these hitters coming into the postseason. 11 for 27 over the course of that time period. That's a .407 average for rushing.
Breaking ball in the dirt. He's ahead 2-1. Matthews making quick work of the first 2 batters in this order. The 2-1. Low and outside, now 3-1. Again, a story throughout this season for the Braves has been production with 2 outs offensively. A lot of their runs have been with their backs against the wall. Let's see if rushing can prove that again as he takes time.
Yeah, they're one of the best 2-out hitting teams, in all of the CCBL.
Full count to Rushing. Matthews just hitting the zone so far.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these pitchers run up against these two lineups.
Breaking ball. Looks like it went foul, close to the hands of Dalton Rushing.
But what I mean by that is, obviously, for these pitchers, they've both had excellent numbers on the season, but Cotuit and Bourne are number 1 and number 2 in RBIs, 175 for Cotuit and 164 for Bourne. That's top 2 in the CCBL.
And a breaking ball from Matthews catches Rushing in the second strikeout for a Braves batter. Scoreless after 1. It looks like we're going to have a barn burner here on our hands at Doran Park. 0-0, the Cotuit Kettleers up to bat.
Noah Bridges.
Noah Bridges up first for the Cotuit Kettleers, the 5-spot hitter, and Sansone back on the mound. A hard hit ball by Eric Brown ended the top of the first. Hunter jump out in left field, making a difference early on in his Cape career. This one taken shallow to center. It's going to drop down for a base hit to lead off the top of the second. Joe Lampe not in time.
Yeah, good piece of hitting there by Noah Bridges. Didn't get much of it. Kind of got jammed up on the handle, but just sent a duck snort of such you could call it into center field. Just fell right before Lampe could get there. As you run down this Cotuit lineup, we'll go back up to the top, send it down to the bottom. Jace Grady, Carter Trice, Ryan Ritter, Eric Brown Jr., Noah Bridges, Brett Roberts, the DH, Nathan Martarella, Matthew Suggs, and Matt Donlin behind the plate. So, should be interesting. A team that put up 13 against the Braves and then promptly put up 1 here at Doran Park.
Yeah, fastball high and outside, and this is a Cotuit Kettleers team that has given us the run for our money. And 3-2, we have the advantage in the season series, but boy, the scales are about as even as can be. Foul ball.
Yeah, for Sansone, obviously we talked about him pitching on the road for the entirety of this Cape League season. That can be a bit of an adjustment. Obviously, you're used to not pitching at your home park, yet you're there so much, but you're just not out there on the mound. And I can tell you what, as a pitcher, obviously just at the high school level, so nothing, and I guess club baseball too, but it can be mentally different. I wouldn't say challenging, but just different. Always different to throw off a different mound that you're not used to throwing off of. He's thrown at Wareham twice. He's thrown at Chatham twice. So obviously once you get on a mound once, you kind of know how, you're familiar with the place, and it sometimes can be easier to settle in. But for Sansone, good job in that first, and trying to work around the leadoff single now.
2-1, a hesitant swing for strike 2. Looks like the changeup from Sansone.
That beautiful changeup right there. That pitch is his go-to. That's what he's going to be throwing to righties all night. Doesn't throw it to lefties, rarely. But to righties, it's his go-to. It's his out pitch.
Roberts, the 2-2 taken to deep center field, going over Joe Lampe. Does it have the distance? That is a home run, a 2-run shot from Brett Roberts. The Cotuit Kettleers take a 2-0 lead early at Doran.
That's what we talked about. We talked about the home run ball. That's the pitch that has really hurt.
There's some disagreement going on with Roberts.
Oh, wow. Did They call us a double? Mike Roberts is not happy right now. Wow.
I'm not sure exactly what they called. The hands were up. Did they call a home run? Roberts,
Wow.
and mostly everyone at Doran Park thought that was a home run.
Oh, my. That was a home run. That was a home run. I mean, that ball was gone. That was a home run for the Kettleers. I mean, we would take a double. Obviously, the Braves had this happen to them earlier this season. Umpires are going to get together. That center field wall has played tricks on umpires this season. That hit a fan who was trying to dodge that baseball out there. Obviously, we wouldn't like it for it to be a home run, but that was indeed out of the park.
A very Braves and Harwich-esque
Yeah.
situation we had here, but
Oh, I tell you what, if they call us a double, Mike Roberts is getting tossed from this game. That's a guarantee. That ball was clear as day a home run.
well, the umpires are convening. We'll have a decision in just a few moments.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
and they're sending him back to second. I think Roberts might get thrown from this game.
Yeah, I think he deserves to. I mean, not deserves to. I think he deserves the case that he's having right now is what I meant to say. He is not happy.
Oh, goodness. Roberts having a word with the home plate umpire.
Yeah, that ball was gone.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, Mike Roberts is heated.
And I didn't get a full look at it, Reeves. How sure are you that that was a home run?
I'm pretty positive. I will be willing to say I'm almost 100% sure. I'm almost 100% sure that was a home run. But hey, I will say, same thing happened to the Braves earlier this season, in which a ground rule double was called a home run against them. So maybe this is just the baseball gods giving the Braves one back. That is a big blow for Cotuit, but they do have runners on second and third regardless here. And nobody out in the inning.
Sansone with a gift. Roberts now with a double. They're calling it a ground rule double. And he's at second. Noah Bridges at third. With Nathan Martarella.
Well, here, if you're Sansone, you're playing with a little bit of what you like to call, Daniel, house money.
Unbelievable
Wow.
drama early on in Game 1 of the Best of 3 West Division Series.
Yeah, this is postseason baseball at its finest. Wow, I cannot believe they called that back. Or they called it a double on the field.
1-0. Martarella, hard hit ball towards Christian Knapczyk. He fields it. Kettleers scores. They got him at first, though.
Yeah, great play there by Christian Knapczyk. Even better stretch at the other end by Dalton Rushing. Great play from the Braves' right side of the diamond. And now hopefully you bring the infield halfway in. You get one run across for Cotuit. Hopefully you strand this second runner. This is a momentum shifter at its finest.
Matthew Suggs about to dig in. Roberts at third with the head coach Roberts still jawing at the third base umpire. The infield is in. The Braves now trail by 1 in the top of the second. Breaking ball dropping low. The Kettleers have been hitting Sansone thus far. 3 hits on the day. One out. High and deep to left. Hunter jump goes back. That's going to be a 2-run shot, most certainly.
Wow.
The Kettleers are rolling early. Michael Sansone getting hit up. Suggs with a 2-run shot, 3-0.
Yeah, this atmosphere is explosive. A lot of Kettleers fans here today, and they are loud after those big base hits from Cotuit, the double from Brett Roberts, and now a 2-run shot from Matthew Suggs. And Sansone getting hit hard early, and now Eddie Marco is going to have to go pay a visit to the Fairfield lefty. This is a big energy, a lot of energy. This place is buzzing for both sides today. A lot of Bourne fans, a lot of Cotuit fans.
And it's not just a playoff game. I mean,
yeah.
this game means
This is more. You were right about that, Daniel.
from a Cotuit team that resides just a few minutes down the road. Backyard versus backyard. It's 3-0. Cotuit has the advantage. Eddie Marco now trotting back to the Braves dugout. 3-0 early on. What maybe should have been 2 home runs, it doesn't matter. It still clears the bases.
Yeah, exactly.
And all 3 batters score.
Well, think for Sansone, these pitchers are being just left way too high over the plate. I mean, that fastball is roughly belt high and right down Broadway. Can't be throwing those pitches to one of those dangerous offenses in the Cape League, especially with the way they've been able to score over the course of the past week.
Here is the 9 spot, Matt Donlin. First at bat of his playoff career on the Cape, chopped foul. No more arguing from Roberts, the head coach for Cotuit at third.
Yeah, he had some words for our third base umpire, Mike Rabideau, after that home run by Matthew Suggs. He said, yeah, that one's out of the park. Let me tell you.
1-1, taken Hunter Jump's way. He trots back, out number 2.
Yeah, good recovery right there for Sansone. Donlin hit it hard, but right at Jump. It's a big second out here for the Braves in this half inning. And look, you knew if you were Bourne coming into this game, you were going to have to hit. Cotuit's not going to score 1 run again. Obviously, in a perfect world, you'd love them to only get 1 on the board, but you knew if you're coming in as Bourne, the bats have to be going to win this series. Simply put it. It's a Cotuit offense that is too dangerous.
Fouled off to the 1 spot. Jace Grady, who made it to first on a 5-pitch at-bat walk. The 0-1. The ice has been broken in this game. A breaking ball called 1-1. All the tension and the nerves have vanished at Doran Park. A 1-1. Called strike on the inner half fastball.
Yeah, Sansone here now. Just trying to battle back, get out of this inning. A 2-strike count here to
Grady chases a high and outside fastball. The 1 spot hitter goes down, but Sansone allows a 2-run shot and 3 Kettleers score. To the bottom of the 2nd we go. It's playoff time at Doran Park, and the Braves bats need to wake up if we want to take game 1.
The shortstop from Virginia Tech, number 27, Tanner Schobel.
4, 5, 6 due up for the Braves, who now trail by 3 on their home turf in the first game of this best-of-3 West Division series. Tanner Schobel up with Joe Lampe on deck. First pitch from Matthews, catching outside, 0-1. A 2-run bomb from Matthew Suggs that really justified a potential missed call ground rule double from Brett Roberts. All 3, however, of the base runners for the Cotuit Kettleers scored, and as much as Roberts could argue, there's nothing really much more to argue once you send all those runners in.
Yeah, no. Hey, you know what? Obviously, it wasn't how Cotuit drew it up as far as the call. We had Nick Galley, who just came out here. His uncle's sitting beyond the center field fence, and he said, was that a home run? He texted him, and he said, Nick, that ball went 25 to 30 feet over the fence. Wasn't close.
1-2 breaking ball down goes Schobel swinging.
Yeah, it's a beautiful changeup right there from Quinn Matthews. Both these pitchers feature plus changeups. But Quinn Matthews has now struck out 3 in a row dating back to Max Anderson in the first inning. But the Braves have to bring the barrels to the plate today. No, simply put it, they got to be clicking on all cylinders now with 3 runs for Cotuit.
Another key in this lineup is Joe Lampe, batting .269 as he watches a fastball go in the dirt for ball 1. Joe from Arizona State. We've seen him at the top spot along with Christian Knapczyk. Knapczyk has the honor today. 2 balls in the dirt for the Arizona State Sun Devil, who's now at the 5 spot, often seen at the 6 if he's not at the 1.
Yeah, Ben Huber at the 6 spot tonight. Lampe, who leads his team in walks at 21. Interesting decision. Obviously, Knapczyk, who led off for so much of that middle portion of the year, But Lampe, already a 3-0 count. I don't know what it is about Joe Lampe, but he's got great plate discipline. That's why I do love Knapczyk for his ability to fight off pitches and work the count. Obviously, he is one of the best hitters on this team, but Lampe with his plate discipline gets on base. So we'll see what Joe can do at the plate here today.
3-0 called strike on the lower half. Matthews stays alive.
Yeah, Joe on the season, a .269 hitter in the regular season, 29 for 108.
And just like that, we have a payoff pitch coming from Quinn Matthews. A big pitch for Joe. Full count. Check swing in the dirt, drop 3rd strike. The throw from Donlin successful to Martarella for out number 2.
Tell you about the effectiveness of Quinn Matthews right now. Now 4 consecutive strikeouts.
The DH from UConn, number 30, Ben Huber.
And here comes Ben Huber, a newcomer who's transferring to the University of Connecticut. This team full of Connecticut Huskies as he watches one in the dirt for ball 1.
Yeah, sure are. Harvey Shapiro obviously has the close connection.
The 1-0. Huber started off at Wareham in our last trip to Spillane Field. That was this past Saturday. In his first at-bat, scored Joe Lampe in the first inning.
Yeah, 2 hits on the day, then had a 3-hit game 2 games later. 6 for 16 for Huber in his short time with the Braves, now into the postseason.
1-1, now 1-2 off a half-hearted swing.
Yeah, Matthews trying to strike out the side here. Obviously, for the Braves, you're down 3-0. It's a long game. It is a very long game. If you don't score in the first 2, it's all right. Got plenty of time. Obviously, Matthews is going to be a tough code to crack, but Braves will have many chances here tonight, and as long as Sansone can kind of settle in like he did against the Wareham Gatemen, the Braves will be just fine and will have plenty of opportunities here tonight.
The 1-2. Chopper foul. And when it rains, it pours for the Cotuit offense. Just in their last regular season game against the YD Red Sox, the YD Red Sox went up 5-0 in the top of the first, and in the bottom of the second, the Cotuit Kettleers responded with 5 runs of their own in the home half. To tie the game, they ended up winning that. And a close ball on the outside, 2-2. That was a 10-5 victory for the Cotuit Kettleers in their last game. In the dirt, now a full count once again.
Yeah, good at bat here from Huber is being patient, laying off these pitches, but very effective as Matthews will make his 31st pitch.
3-2, 2 outs. Swing and a miss. Quinn Matthews strikes out the side. 1, 2, 3. And he is handling this Bourne Braves team. They're hitless through to the top of the third we go. And I'm going to send it down to you, Calvin. Obviously, we have a great crowd here at Doran Park, a playoff atmosphere. Tell me a little bit about what you're experiencing down there and how this is going to affect the game.
Concessions and interns are selling them in the stands. Tonight's prizes are a Cape Cod.
Well, Daniel, we knew it was going to be a very big and very loud crowd here at Doran Park. First home playoff game in just about 2 years, and I think it is more loud and more crazy than we expected. Of course, Cotuit travels well as well, and a controversial call there in the second inning definitely got their fans going a little bit. So the momentum right now is on the Cotuit side with their fans being loud and boisterous. The Braves fans still sitting on their hands a little bit, looking for something to cheer about. Hopefully the Bravos can have a clean top of this third inning and get some momentum going in the bottom of the third inning to get this big, raucous Braves crowd back into the game.
Friday night game at Bourne, and Cotuit, the 2 seed in the West, has a 3-0 lead early in this series. And with that, Reeves, I'll let you take over. Sansone back on the mound.
Thank you, Daniel. Carter Trice is going to step in here for the Cotuit Kettleers. 2, 3, and 4 here in their half of the third inning. A big 3-run second with some controversy to go along with it. Obviously, Brett Roberts hit a ball to the deepest part of the yard out there in center field. And it appeared to us, obviously, the ball was easily out of the yard for a home run. And Sansone delivers a strike there, 1-1 the count. Obviously, to everyone, it was out of the park for a home run. Even Brett Roberts was already crossing home plate, but the field umpire over there at third base calling it a ground rule double. That was Mike Rabideau, and if you missed our last inning.
And with the amount of people that are here, Reeves, and the noise from each side, and Cotuit travels incredibly well. We can't necessarily see it, but there are a ton of fans dressed in their maroon, and they were making themselves present after that call.
Well, obviously, Calvin had a great report down there on the sideline about the atmosphere of this postseason game. This is easily a record-breaking crowd here at Doran Park tonight. Most we've seen all season. It'll be interesting to see how many we get tonight to see if it's the most Bourne has ever had. As this one is ripped into left center field, a base hit for Carter Trice. This one going to the gap. He's going to try Lampe for 2. Lampe's throw is going to be late. It's a leadoff hustle double for Carter Trice. He bounced into the double play but redeems himself in a big way here. And the Kettleers have a man in scoring position and nobody out. Daniel talked about it off the air in between innings. We preached how much Sansone and the Braves need a scoreless shutdown inning here.
Yeah, and here comes Harvey. I think he's thinking the same thing too. Michael Sansone's day might be done, and it is. We're not necessarily sure who's coming in from left field, but he was hit up early and often. That is exactly what you can't have after a 3-run half inning. Carter Trice with a double, and Ryan Ritter, the best hitter on this team statistically, coming in. Sansone's day is done.
Well, obviously the postseason is all about short leashes, and a short leash here for Sansone today. The new Braves pitcher is going to be Chadoba. We'll introduce him after a quick break. You're watching the Bourne Braves YouTube live stream in Game 1 of the Western Division playoffs between the Cotuit Kettleers and the Bourne Braves. Pitching change for the Bourne Braves here, top of the third inning. Sansone's day is done after 2+. He gives up 3 runs on 5 hits and is yanked after the leadoff double by Carter Trice. And in here for the Braves, it's been one of their most consistent and useful relievers all season long. The assumption now, UConn right-hander Cole Chadoba.
Yeah, Cole Chadoba coming in with a 3-0 record, a 2.07 ERA. This will be his 8th game appeared in. He's been through 21 2/3, and it looks like he's only given up 6 hits, one of those coming in a 5-run affair. That was when we hosted Falmouth on July 19th. He's going to have to deal, though, with a red-hot Cotuit Kettleers, and Sansone obviously has to be kicking himself about his outing, getting through 2 innings.
Yeah, 2+ for Sansone. As you mentioned, Chadoba just 6 runs on the year, 5 of those earned. 18 hits for Cole, allowed 17 strikeouts, and just 2 walks. He throws strikes, and as I mentioned, just that 2.07 ERA and a 3-0 record. Chadoba's been the guy the Braves have turned to out of the bullpen when they need him most. And the first pitch is off of the glove of Peter Burns. I'm sure that'll be scored a pass ball. It was a fastball that looked like it was a little low, but Burns can't handle it, and all of a sudden the Kettleers have Trice aboard over at third. And for a part of this Cotuit lineup that has been so deadly, and especially over the course of the final 2 weeks of the season, Ryan Ritter at the plate, and then followed by Eric Brown and Noah Bridges. Infield's going to draw halfway in here for the Braves, as Harvey Shapiro so often positions them with the runner on third and less than 2 down. Not the all-the-way in method, as some coaches put on, but obviously for Harvey Shapiro, brings him in halfway, 1-1, and a breaking ball catches the inner half. Good pitch from Chadoba. He's ahead here, 1-2.
This is a situation now where it's a bend, but don't break. If you're going to give up a run here with Carter Trice at third, let it be. 4 runs, that's nothing for this Braves offense. However, they really haven't proven that they've arrived here at Doran Park. No hits in the first 2. 1-2-3 inning in 2 innings for Quinn.
Well, we talked about the last game that was here at Doran Park just a few short days ago, a big Braves win, 13-1. We talked about that game being arguably the most important game of the season. And if it would be a momentum shifter going into this postseason, we said it would be, and Bourne absolutely had Cotuit's number in that game. They're 3-2 against the Kettleers all season, but as you mentioned, if there's been one team that the Braves have struggled against, regardless of their record, it's been Cotuit. And their biggest loss of the season, 13-2, as this one is smacked foul by Ritter, and the count remains full, 3 balls and 2 strikes, with nobody down here in the top of the third. A leadoff double by Carter Trice, a pass ball by Peter Burns, sent him over to third. Obviously, we talked about that game being a momentum shifter, but for the Braves, behind early, and all the momentum in Cotuit's favor.
Tell you what, Cole Chadoba is resetting the tone, it seems, here. Although he's only gotten, through Ryan Ritter, a full count to the best hitter on this team, he's saying something by coming in. He has the trademarked baby blue glove, the Assumption to UConn kid. And look, if you can keep the Cotuit Kettleers under control, no more 13 runs, need to keep this game manageable, and I think Chadoba can do that.
That payoff pitch is spoiled foul off to the left side near the Braves dugout. Count remains full here, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Chadoba looking to avoid a walk to the first batter he faces, but he's going to issue one. A breaking ball that misses too low, and now Ritter aboard. 2 on for the Kettleers on the corners for the cleanup hitter, Eric Brown Jr.
Yeah, not what you want. You do have the double play ball up the middle, however.
Well, if any word describes Bourne's season in 2021, although they had the best record in the Cape League, I think the word that best describes them is resilient. With how many walk-off wins they had, how many times they were able to fight back late in the game, even to scratch out a tie. We obviously recall the Colton Bender homer against the Harwich Mariners that ended up tying that game, the 3 walk-offs. But the Braves time and time again have come back from big deficits to tie or win games. Obviously, there's no ties in the playoffs. The games will be played until one team wins. As Chadoba wants to see what the plan of attack is for EBJ and the Kettleers with a check over there on Ritter. Brown did not show bunt. We'll see what Mike Roberts wants to do. This is about as dangerous as Mike Roberts is sometimes as a coach, with nobody down, runners on the corners, and one of your best hitters that can do really anything. He can bunt, he can swing it, he can do really everything at the plate.
It looks like Brown's being given the green light. Men on first and third, there's a double play opportunity that we've already seen up the middle in this game, but again, with 2 runners on after letting up 3 in the top of the second, this is not a great position for the Braves. Really, it comes down to them responding, not defensively or with the pitching, but offensively.
Good pitch from Chadoba that finds the outer half. He's back in the count, a ball and a strike. The Braves would gladly trade a run for a double play here and take 2 outs. That's where Knapczyk and Schobel are playing, and the double play depth up the middle, pinching a bit. Outfield playing Brown fairly deep, especially out in left field. Hunter jump. It's about 3/4 deep in the outfield. Interesting time always here in Bourne. Couldn't have asked for a better day for postseason baseball. But when you talk about sunny days at Bourne, you also have to include the factor of the shadows, which do play a major role here at Bourne in the middle innings of this game. They're starting to creep in. They get probably to their peak in the bottom of the 4th or the top of the 5th inning, depending on the flow of the game. As Brown takes a strike there, great pitch from Cole Chadoba. Looked like the 2-seam fastball, and now the count is even.
Only 1 strikeout for the Cotuit Kettleers at the plate. They're making the Bourne Braves work defensively. Cole Chadoba with an opportunity here to get Eric Brown and his first strikeout of his appearance.
We mentioned Brown, one of the hottest hitters, not only on Cotuit, but in the Cape. Bounces one to short, deep in the hole. Schobel diving stop. Long throw across the diamond is off the mark. Believe Brown Jr. would have beat it regardless. It's an RBI infield single, and Cotuit leads it 4-0.
Just a tough spot for Tanner Schobel. Nothing more to it. An easy score there for Carter Trice from third, and Tanner Schobel, just really nothing you could do. You couldn't turn 2. Even if you fielded it cleanly, you have to gun it over to Dalton Rushing. Probably would have been one of the best defensive plays we've seen all season if he was able to complete that. However, now we have men in first and second for Cotuit, with the middle of the lineup and probably the most dangerous part of this lineup due up.
It's Noah Bridges. Shows bunt and fouls it back. Obviously, Kettleers looking to advance both of these runners into scoring position with nobody down currently. And the guy who hit the controversial double thought home run, Brett Roberts, remains in the on-deck circle for the Kets. Well, Cotuit has showed up in a big way, Daniel. They have sent a message to the Braves over there in that third base dugout after getting trounced the last time they were here at Doran Park. 4 runs on 6 hits for the Kettleers with nobody down in the top of the 3rd inning. Bunt here, and it's a beauty if it stays fair, but it's going to trickle foul. And now with 2 strikes, we'll see if Mike Roberts keeps the bunt sign on here for the right fielder, Noah Bridges. Mike Roberts not too happy over there as he shook his head over there. Bridges really wanted him to get that bunt down.
Yeah, 2 men in scoring position, an opportunity to make it 6-0. At that point, you're looking at a blowout, potentially. It's early, though, and you know, something that the Braves have lost really is the home run ball. If that comes back tonight in the middle or the later portion of this game, the game's completely in play at the moment.
Yeah, they just have to limit beginnings, and this is one of them. Already a run across, but 2 aboard. Bunt sign off for Bridges and takes a fastball away there.
This is a moment-defining game for Cole Chadoba. You have no outs in the top of the 3rd, men at first and second, with the middle part of the Cotuit lineup now up. I mean, this is where pitchers are really made iron sharpening iron here, and if Chadoba gets out of this inning by only allowing 1 run, it's a grand success for the Braves.
A bunt there with 2 strikes. Bridges can't get it down. It'll go as a strikeout. And great job there by Cole Chadoba. Noah Bridges will be shaking his head, and Mike Roberts knows that's a missed opportunity. With one of your hottest hitters and most consistent guys since he came onto the scene really in the latter half of the season, Brett Roberts, he doubled to deep center. Might have been the only time I've ever seen a double leave the yard.
Well, the only reason that I believed that was because we've never seen anyone homer that
No,
far.
we
here
never
at Dorn
have.
Park. And it was going towards the foul pole, kind of drifted to the left of it, maybe towards the light pole. But that's as far a home run as you're going to see here. One of the deepest parts of this park.
Big leads for Ritter and Brown. And they were almost on the move there. Not much attention being paid to them from the middle infield combination of Schobel and Knapczyk. Obviously, it's Knapczyk's duty to hold on Ritter here with the right-handed hitting Roberts in the box. Sun gleaming down on the outfielders. That could also play a problem. We saw that earlier this season with Kyler Fedko. Big hole on the right side.
Especially here at Dorn, where we have the sun setting behind us. Potentially working against the batters as well. You can see on the screen one of the light poles cutting across between home plate and the mound. Could prove to be a tough obstacle for batters.
On the move is Ritter. Throw from Burns. It is just late.
Oh, yeah, it's as bang bang as it gets.
Ryan Ritter with a big stolen base for Cotuit. They finished second in the CCBL with 50 of those in the regular season. As I mentioned, 50 for 66. And therefore, Ryan Ritter, just his third stolen base the entire season. Obviously, stats reset here in the postseason. So first and third, double play still in order for Bourne. 2-1 here from Chadoba, and a big swing and a miss there from the Seminole.
There's a double play opportunity. You can see the middle infielders, Knapczyk and Schobel, are pinching at second.
And another payoff pitch upcoming here with one down, and even though there's less than 2 outs, I'd be hard-pressed if Mike Roberts didn't send Eric Brown Jr. over from first base. A prime opportunity to run, especially a team that runs as well as Cotuit does. We'll see if Brown is off. He leads 3-2. Chadoba delivers. Brown is on the move. This one chopped to short. That'll eliminate the double play ball. And Schobel throws out Roberts. Another run in for the Kettleers. Good job there by Roberts, who does the job. An RBI ground out, but a run scores. It's 5-0.
Well, the aggressive base running paying off. A good and smart play, I think, by Tanner Schobel to not try and turn two. I think they wouldn't have even gotten Eric Brown at second. Just make it safe, and with the gun down to first, we have 2 outs, 2 runs given up here. Again, keep it manageable, but the Braves need to respond offensively.
Yeah, they have to. Big 5-run deficit early on for the Braves as Martarella steps in. And regardless of how this game finishes up, win or lose for Bourne, it does not get any easier tomorrow. You go to one of the best atmospheres in the entire Cape League of Lowell Park, a team that in a stadium that is known for playoff baseball with their 17 championships. Most in the Cape League. This one bounced foul over past Rushing at first. And a quick strike here to the Kettleers first baseman, Martarella.
Cotuit came to hit today. They have 6 on the board. It's not even the end of the top of the third. Chadoba put into a tough spot. I know there's 2 runs against him already, but really Sansone set that up.
Yeah, one of those runs credited to Sansone. The other goes to Cole Chadoba, who had a first batter walk of Ryan Ritter after the leadoff double by Trice. That was off of Sansone before he was pulled from this game. Spoiled and actually knocked the bat boy a little bit. He's tough. He'll shake it off.
He looks okay.
He's probably felt a ball on his behind a time or two in Little League ball. Nothing into the count on a packed day at Dorn Park. Game 1 of the postseason. And Reeves Jackson and Daniel Coates happy to have you along with us here tonight. 0-2.
Martarella just ahead of that breaking ball from Chadoba. Being able to strand Brown at second would be such a big hold for the Braves. A base knock here and completely deflates Doran Park.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, 5 runs is about as big of a deficit as the Braves have seen this year, as this one is skied into left field. This one drifting deep. Jump back towards the bullpen. It's going to fly. Nathan Martarella with a 2-run shot, and the air has been sucked out of this Doran Park crowd. It is 7-0 Kettleers, only in this top of the third.
How about it? I mean, as close as you can get to ending the half inning. Martarella sends one that looks like a routine fly ball, and you just watch jump, and he slowly moves back and back and back, and then all of a sudden it's the fence. You see the men in the bullpen for the Braves look up. A 2-run shot again, 7-0, and a shell-shocked Braves fan base to our left.
Matthew Suggs, who delivered a 2-run blast of his own the last time he came up in the second, digs in with the bases clear. A 4-spot, an even bigger inning for the Kettleers in the third after they put up 3 of their own in the second. So crooked numbers all over the place early on. And the Braves have not battled a deficit as big of 7 all season, as far as at least coming back from one. 2-1 the count.
Again, left field playing so shallow.
Yeah, I didn't think that ball was initially going to get out, Daniel.
Neither did I.
But the ball flies at Doran Park as long as it's not hit to center field, and primarily flies out to left field, 330 feet down the left field line. It's 395 to dead center. Straight down the right field line at Froggy's pole, which is a pesky-ish pole, if you're new to the broadcast. As Chadoba issues a walk here to Suggs. Nothing going right for this Braves pitching staff. The combination of Sansone and Cole Chadoba, who have been 2 of the Braves' best pitchers all season long.
Now batting, the catcher from UConn.
As Matt Donlin digs in, the 9-hole hitter here for the Kettleers. And back to the Doran Park dimensions, 360 into the really graveyard here in right field. It really backs up quickly. Takes a lot to get it over that part of the fence, and not many hitters have here this summer. But a Braves pitching staff, as we talked about at the top of the broadcast, Daniel, led this Cape Cod Baseball League with a 3.14 staff ERA. You take one giant in the Braves pitching staff and another giant in the Kettleers offense with 197 runs scored in the regular season, and you say which one wins, and so far it's been the Cotuit offense.
It's a Goliath versus Goliath. One has to have the upper hand. Cotuit has had it in the batter's box. And boy, oh boy, 7-0.
Well, the Braves were presented with a lot of hardware before this game. They were presented the President's Trophy for the best record in the Cape League. Were presented with the Western Division Champion Trophy. Harvey Shapiro won Manager of the Year, and Eric Adler won Relief Pitcher of the Year. But how quickly that has faded here into the night early on. As Donlin chops that one foul off his foot. And the count runs even here to 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Brewster Whitecaps and Harwich Mariners game has gone final, 2-0. Brewster.
Wow, another shutout for that incredible pitching staff. And how about Fitzpatrick, Prusecki, and Stanovich, who we saw here. Stanovich closed that game out when Brewster was at Doran Park. Pieced it together with 3 pitchers. Nice job there by Donlin. Somehow got a piece of that breaking ball from Chadoba.
again, we are in this game. The Braves need a rally half inning.
They got to have a crooked
it's
number.
So early in this game. I know 7 runs seems like a lot at the moment, but if the pitching remains stout as well as the defense, and you give the Braves offense an opportunity that are now loose, nothing to lose here, still very much in this game as that one drifts foul.
Yeah, obviously 7 runs is tough to overcome, and especially for a Braves offense that has been lost in the middle of it at times. Sometimes they'll explode for crooked numbers like you wouldn't believe. And then there's times in this season in which the Braves offense has faded and disappeared throughout games. So you don't really know what you're going to get from this Braves offense that has been a bit inconsistent this season, I guess is the best way to put it and the best way to describe it. 2-2 popped up in the infield. That is right there for Christian Knapczyk in the gleaming sun, and he makes the catch for out number 3. But another big inning for the Kettleers. Back-to-back big frames. They get 4 in this half, and a big 2-run shot from Nathan Martarella. As we head to the home third, the Kettleers lead at 7-0. You're watching the Bourne Braves YouTube live stream here in Game 1 of the Western Division playoffs.
Hunter Jump.
The Braves get it started here with Hunter Jump. Here in the home half of the third inning, 7 runs on 7 hits for the Kettleers, and the Braves still searching for their first hit. And how about the start here from Quinn Matthews, the Stanford left-hander who has struck out 5 in a row. And 5 of the first 6 hitters in this Braves lineup, they have gone 1-2-3, 1-2-3 in the first 2 frames. It'll be Jump, Thomas, and Burns. And for Hunter Jump, 1 for 18 since joining the Braves. But a prime candidate to break out who's put together some very quality at-bats. But they got to crack Quinn Matthews if they want to have a shot, obviously, at coming back in this game.
This inning, as well as the fourth, are massive in order to stay in this game. You cannot linger any longer and push this game to the back half. Need to attack now.
Three and 1 count here to Hunter Jump. And a breaking ball finds his own on the outer half. And some rambling from the Bourne Brave faithful. Thought it was a good pitch, though. But Matthews, who's found himself in a few 3-2 counts here early on in this game, strikes out Jump 6 in a row.
Matthews with an absolute gem at the moment. No action in the Kettleers bullpen as expected. Colby Thomas in the 8th spot, Peter Burns on deck, and then Knapczyk at the top. A bright spot and something maybe to look forward to is that often the Braves need one try, one go-through of the lineup really to get a sense of what they're dealing with. They've proven that time and time again, but cannot go hitless through the first 4 innings.
Colby Thomas has been hot of late. He was struggling a little bit before that, but a 3-game hitting streak for Colby in which he's 4 for 7 with 1 extra base hit. That was a double. That was here against the Wareham Gatemen in the 10-3 loss. And Colby, hard ground ball over to third. Carter Trice, who is playing in. It's a wild throw over the first baseman Martarella's head. Colby will stay at first. But an E5, and the Braves don't have their first hit, Daniel, but they have their first base runner.
That could be the swing that we need. Peter Burns now with a man on first. If it's not a hit, we'll take the error. We talk about guys on this team who have stayed through and through. Peter Burns represents everything about this team. He had a game-winning walk-off single against Orleans. He's behind the plate. He's been with this team since day one. Now in the first round has an opportunity. And he, as we've said before, is the heart and soul. Everyone gets behind this guy if you're in the Braves dugout.
Well, these two teams, Daniel, they are not unfamiliar with each other when it comes to postseason play here in this league's history. Back in 2017, the Braves swept Cotuit 2-0 to move on to the championship round where they lost in a heartbreaker to Brewster 2-1 in the series. And then back in 2009, the Braves also swept the Kettleers before winning their first and only ever CCBL title. As that one taken on the outer half, 0-2. So no stranger to the Kettleers, and they've had their number in postseason play. It'll take a big turnaround here today for that to change, at least in game one. As Matthews delivers here to Burns, 0-2. Good stop there from Donlin behind the dish.
Yeah, Burns needs to be aggressive here. Knapczyk on deck. And then you get to guys in the 2, 3, and 4 spots. Max Anderson, Dalton Rushing, Tanner Schobel, all of which have the opportunity to go deep. Again, we need runs, and we need them quickly here, or else Cotuit's going to continue to ride that momentum wave.
Count even here, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Breaking ball misses and the count runs full, and with 1 down, a speedy Colby Thomas aboard at first. Do you run? Colby from first. Do you steal him, Daniel? What's your plan of attack here? I know you're aggressive as all get out. What do you like here?
You know I'm aggressive, so I would always say yes, but I think I would.
Colby not going. Breaking ball rings up. Peter Burns. Oh, boy. That seemed to be a bet outside. Peter tried to sell it, but he won't argue. He'll try to get that call for his pitcher when the Braves are on the field. So Peter Burns goes down. He strikes out looking and back up to the top here with Knapczyk.
Wow. That's as close as it gets. But if you're Peter Burns defensively, you got to keep that in your back pocket. Know that the strike zone extends all the way out there.
Here's Knapczyk, who's going to lace one into left field, a solid base hit. Braves are on the board in the hit column as Knapczyk has the Braves now with runners on first and second here for Max Anderson. With 1 swing of the bat, it's just a 4-run ball game.
Absolutely, and Dalton Rushing on deck.
They were playing in over at third was Carter Trice, and Knapczyk just right through that 5-6 on the left side of the diamond. Well, about as hot of a hitter as anyone in this Braves lineup over the course of the past 2 weeks, Max Anderson digs in. And that changeup from Matthews, close to as deadly as the changeup we have seen all season from Michael Sansone.
How about the work from Matthews so far? Now,
he's been special, hasn't he?
In the bottom of the third, only allowed that 1 hit to Knapczyk, and that came off of an error and a missed opportunity for the Kettleers.
Another good stop by Matt Donlin, who we've seen for most every game other than just one this season. As we mentioned, the Braves owned the regular season head-to-head record with the Kettleers, 3-2. One of those games was rained out at Cotuit, a game we talked about a lot at the time because of the implications. Obviously, it was our first time seeing the Kettleers, in which the Braves were down in that game, but the game got canceled. No record, as it didn't go 5. Good pitch, another changeup from Matthews, who's gotten these right-handed hitters very far out on that pitch.
Yeah, he's chasing, and he really likes to pull it. The last time that we mentioned that, he hit a home run. But he is a pull hitter, and especially with that left field at Doran Park, it's proven beneficial.
1-2, Anderson skies one into center field. There is Jace Grady going back. He misplayed it. That's going to get down. Thomas scores. Here comes Knapczyk as Anderson puts on the brakes, and the Braves get their first 2 runs on a Max Anderson 2-run double.
There we go. That might be just what we need. I know it's only 5 runs, but we're going to have another 5 opportunities at the plate, not to mention a man in scoring position now with Dalton Rushing, who leads this team with 6 home runs digging in.
The sun playing tricks on the center fielder, Jace Grady, who went in, but the ball was well over his head. They appeal to second, then make sure that the runners touch the bag, and they both did. The Braves have their first 2 runs as Dalton Rushing steps to the plate with 2 away.
It all goes back to something that the Kettleers have been plagued by this season. That's the error. At third, Carter Trice allowed Colby Thomas, the first base runner, on the entire game, and the Braves have taken advantage. And now all the confidence defensively and on the mound might be fleeting for the Kettleers.
Well, all it takes is, as you mentioned, just break the ice. Get that goose egg out of there, and then see what the offense can do. They trail just by 5 now. As Rushing chops this one foul. Over to first base coach Quinn Stebbins.
That's huge. And even if we leave this with 5-run deficit, momentum-wise, confidence-wise, to be able to know that we've battled back against 2 outs again, and we were able to put up 2 runs, we're very much in this game.
One and one, a check here from Donlin over to second. That's going to scoop off of Ryan Ritter and get into center field, but not far enough for Anderson to advance. We were talking with Cotuit's broadcasters before the game, Chris and Stephen Carey, and were telling us that Matt Donlin isn't the best catch-and-throw catcher as far as getting runners out stealing, but by far the best catcher in this league, in their opinion, at throwing behind runners. It was a bit of a short throw from Donlin there, but luckily for Cotuit, it doesn't result in any harm. A 2-strike count here on Rushing, who went down swinging to end the first in his first plate appearance.
Way to battle from Rushing. Anderson sneaky quick at second, and Donlin proved that he is something to worry about on the base path with that throw down. Stays at a 1-2 count with Schobel, and again, a part of the order that has a lot of power. A swing of the bat, we're closer to tying this game. And that's all it really takes.
One misses away. The right-handed batter's box. 2-2 to the count. This game still so far from being over, and quite the opposite of what we saw happen in Brewster and Harwich earlier. A 2-0 defeat for the Mariners as Rushing chops this one foul. And extending a long AB here for Matthews, whose pitch count is rising. 57 pitches through 2 2/3 innings. So it seems like the Braves are going to dig into this Cotuit Kettleers bullpen. And I think one of the big storylines that we've seen here today, Daniel, is there's going to be no Jake Brooks and there is going to be no Dalton Rogers, who both have injuries and pitchers that will be missing this postseason for the Kettleers.
There's a right-hander warming up in the Kettleers bullpen now, and as much as we have produced runs with 2 outs, we've also jumped over bullpen pitchers.
A big strikeout there for Matthews of Dalton Rushing, but not before the Braves strike for 2. With 2 down here in the third, Max Anderson laces a 2-run double to center. Braves are on the board. They trail by 5 as we head to the 4th. Reeves Jackson and Daniel Coates back with you here from Doran Park in the top of the 4th inning. And obviously here in the postseason after an incredibly fun regular season, obviously the sponsors are just as big of a part of this season as everyone else is with all they have contributed. And on behalf of the Cotuit Kettleers, the Bourne Braves, league officers, and the entire Cape League family, we would like to announce and thank our 2021 corporate sponsors with much appreciation. We recognize the Yaki Foundation, Curry College, Cape Cod Healthcare, the 99 Restaurants, Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod, Badger Sport 47 brand, Cape Cod 5-cent Saving Bank, Milton Cat, Mosquito Mary's, Fairway Financial, Ocean Spray, Seaside Le Mans, and Rogers Gray. Daniel Coates, what have you seen so far from this game? And obviously, answer may seem simple, but what do the Braves need to do to make sure that they can put up a comeback here tonight?
They need to play loose. You need to play with really nothing to lose. It's tough coming in as the 1 seed, and that's for sure.
Got a target on your back.
Cotuit, coming into this game 18-17-1, they really can say to themselves, we have nothing to lose, so why not go up there? Why not swing it? Why not, play with everything we got? And the Braves really have everything to lose in this series. So what I've seen is a loose Cotuit team who's ready to hit, and instead of that big win the other day, as this one's taken high to right.
Colby Thomas initially didn't see it, now reads the ball. Napchek helps him out. He makes the catch for number 1.
And as I was saying, maybe even after that 13-1 loss Cotuit had here a few days ago at Doran Park, instead of that being used as momentum for the Braves, it was used as motivation for the Cotuit Kettleers.
And maybe even another form of motivation for them when Bourne turned this scoreboard on today. Well, they kept it up for a little while. The 13-1 drubbing the last time there was a home game here at Doran Park, the last time the scoreboard was turned on. So there's no shortage of motivation and bulletin board material for Cotuit when it comes to this Bourne Braves team.
Certainly not, especially against Cotuit. I mean, a regular season game is as big as a game if it's the Kettleers who are coming into town.
It always means a little more, and especially in the postseason, you amplify that even greater. Well, this Cotuit top half of the lineup getting their 3rd at-bats in just the 4th inning. Good pitch there from Cole Chadoba, 1-2 the count.
I'll tell you what, it's funny to see Peter Burns use what he's learned in the batter's box behind the plate. All of these pitches and breaking balls are on the outer half that is more susceptible to the spot of the batter, but he went down at the hands of a breaking ball on the outer half. Peter Burns, the zone is extended a bit to the outside, and he's translating what he's learned as a batter into what he's going to strategize as a defender.
2 strikes, choking up is Trice, lifts this one into center field. Joe Lampe, can of corn, he camps and makes the catch. So 2 quick flyouts, 1 to right, 1 to center for Chadoba, and a good start to his half of the 4th on the mound.
University of Kentucky, number 10, Ryan Ritter.
This is the Cotuit pitching staff. We talked about the Braves potentially putting up a comeback on this bullpen for the Kettleers. Well, Daniel, it's safe to say that the opportunity is waiting for them. A Cotuit pitching staff throughout the season, 2nd worst in the CCBL with a 4.68 staff ERA. So if there's any bullpen you can jump on, it's Cotuit's. Ritter checks back. Don't know why he was looking in disbelief if he knew it was going to be called a strike. 1-1 the count.
The way that we're going to win this game is if the bullpen for Cotuit comes out and starts playing conservatively. We flipped the script in a way where now we're the ones who have nothing to lose in this game.
Yeah, exactly. Almost like we talked about even earlier this game, playing with house money. It's got to be the mentality you have to have. 1-2 from Chadoba. Breaking ball spoiled out of play. Count stays that way. A scoreless first in which both pitchers looked solid. Eric Brown gave us a scare, but for Sansone, it was what he has been doing all season and what he had been doing. But then since then, 9 runs have been posted as Ritter stays alive.
And you can see in the delivery now from Cole Chadoba that he has more confidence. He's more assured in himself, especially coming in on his own terms with No men in scoring position. No one on base. He's just dealing from the windup, and he looks comfortable now here in the top of the fourth.
1-2 the count.
Bad boy almost just got
Yeah,
hit again.
they're getting
my
targeted
goodness.
over there, aren't they?
Tough day for both of them. It ricochets off the stone wall and goes behind the protective netting.
Two and two the count now to Ryan Ritter, who on the season for the Kettleers struck out 25 times but did walk 14 times at the plate. And watches strike three, outer half. Well, he knew three of those pitches were going to be called strikes, and he watched all three fastballs cross that outer half as he is rung up for out number three. Braves get a much-needed scoreless top half of the fourth. The bats will go back to work when we come back on the Bourne Braves YouTube live stream. Bottom of the fourth inning, and Tanner Schobel steps in, the cleanup hitter for the Braves, watches a first pitch breaking ball for strike number one, and a big special shout out to Sam and Sue Ann Keeley, Tanner Schobel's grandparents, on their 57th anniversary. 57 years together, that is quite the milestone for Tanner's grandparents, and we wanted to say thank you and congratulations, a big part of our show. And thanks for the support all season long. And Tanner has been a joy to get to know this season. He's behind on the count here, 1-2 strikes. And he skies this one into left field. Going back here is Suggs. Ball is carrying today, and that ball is going to one-hop the wall and get over for a ground rule double. Daniel, some of these balls just seeming like regular pop flies. There's not much wind, but with the humidity in the air, the ball is flying at Doran Park tonight. Great start for the Braves in this half of the fourth.
I can't tell you how important that hit is for the Braves today. Put a man in scoring position. Joe Lampe now up with Huber on deck. Need to keep these innings running and need to keep that confidence high at the batter.
Joe Lampe digs in, 5-hole hitter for the Bravos today. Schobel the short lead over there at second. Obviously not trying to run into an out with nobody down. Lampe a bunt. Matthews having to go to it, picks it up, flips it over to Martarella. Nice play there by Quinn Matthews, but Lampe does the job, Daniel. A successful sacrifice bunt, although he was trying to bunt for a base hit.
Yeah, of course he was. He has the speed to do so. I would have liked to have seen him try to go third baseline, but you know, at the moment, beggars can't be choosers.
as Ben Huber digs in, the designated hitter. And he's going to line one into right center field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Schobel can walk home, and Ben Huber delivers again, an RBI single. And the Braves all of a sudden have scored 3 unanswered runs.
Here we go. Only one out in the bottom of the 4th, and the Braves are responding in kind. This game, folks, is not over, believe me.
Now batting, the left fielder from the University of Kentucky, number 29, Hunter.
Reeves, I remember a team that was down 28-3 in one of the biggest.
Oh my gosh, that was. You know what, Daniel? I'm leaving the broadcast. I'm out. See ya. That was fun. Bye.
And you know what? They came back all the way, and no one thought they could do it. And I actually, I'll stop.
Nick, if you can hear me, we'll take you on next half inning. Maybe the rest of the game. Oh, no, trust me. If I've lived through that, we could live through any comeback.
Well, it's funny. Early on in the season, Reeves and I, it was definitely a difference in the way that we thought about different games.
Yes, no, so true. Atlanta Hawks basketball.
As a Patriots fan and as a Boston sports fan, I always would say when we're down, we're not out of it. Like, what are you talking about, Reeves? This kid goes down, the Hawks are down by 10, and he's calling it game. And I go, what are you talking about? It's the second quarter. It's just different. It's just how we grew up in different spots.
Not used to the life of an Atlanta sports fan.
No, certainly not.
A team that in a closeout game, the Atlanta Braves, a 10-run first inning from the St. Louis Cardinals. That's my life in a nutshell.
Well, hey, I'll tell you what. If Hunter Jump can produce something here, I know he only has 1 hit on the season, but this would be the most important hit of his Braves career thus far.
Well, he has had 3 consecutive check swings in which he is laid off, and now all of a sudden,
with Colby Thomas on deck.
We have not seen Quinn Matthews walk anybody today. He's been effective in the strike zone, but obviously has had at least 2 walks in every outing of his 4 starts here this season. 3-1 the count. And another check swing that Jump lays off. He'll go down to first base, and the Braves have runners at first and second with 1 away.
Peter Burns on deck represents the tying run. I mean, how about that?
Now batting, the right fielder from Mercer University, number 8, Colby Thomas.
Well, Nick Galley just got caught hot mic'd.
Oh, my goodness.
Nick Galley. Nick, if you can hear us in there.
I'm sure Colby heard you.
Hey, that's great. That's great motivation for Colby Thomas right there. Huber at second and Jump aboard at first. The new kids here in the Braves lineup as Colby watches a generous strike call in the inner half from our home plate umpire tonight. That is Mickey Garcia.
Colby's batting .228, 4 homers with 15 RBIs. He's productive when it counts, and that's all that matters here. And right now it sure counts. That one's taken high.
Colby pops it up. Over there, Martarella in foul territory. He drifts back and makes the catch for out number 2. It's a deflating blow for the Braves here in this half of the 4th. But Peter Burns will have a chance to deliver it with 2 outs. And we've talked about it time and time again. But if you want to look at a guy who has not had the best season offensively but has delivered when it matters most, there may be no better example of that than Peter Burns.
Yeah, absolutely. And you look back at when Orleans traveled here to Doran, 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th, and Peter Burns takes a single up the middle as he fouls that one off.
Yeah, right over our heads.
He is so timely, and not just that, but if it's not his average, because, I mean, his average is below 200, 182, but his on-base percentage, 333, and that effectiveness is why he continues to remain in the lineup. And defensively, I mean, he's gunning down guys at a clip of 38%, which is one of the top spots in the Cape League.
0-1, and Burns a late cut. A late decision to swing, and it's 0-2. Burns struck out looking in his first time to the plate. Well, regardless, even if the Braves leave runners at first and second here, Daniel, you have to be happy. Another run this inning. Ben Huber drives in. Tanner Schobel, you just got to keep chipping away at that lead. That's what I felt like sometimes, and I think you may agree, what the Braves have struggled with when they're trying to come back in games. Sometimes they try to do it all at once. All you need to do is chip away. 0-2, And Burns, who was way ahead of the breaking ball. My goodness. If he straightened that one out, that could have been fun.
It was well hit, very well hit. And Christian Knapczyk on deck, so we're going to get the top of the order again. But Peter Burns down 0-2. He has nothing to lose. He struck out on a tough breaking ball his last time, but he's down 0-2 again and trying to protect the plate. That was well contacted, just needs to straighten it out.
0-2. Good eye there by Pete. It's the catcher's eye right there. 1-2.
Way to battle from Peter. This is a big moment for the Kettleers as well. 2 men on base and time called by Peter Burns. Something that's plagued the Braves this season are men left stranded on the base path. If we want to get away with game 1 and a victory, can't be falling to that.
Big 2-2 that Burns fouls off. Two and two the count now to Pete. With 2 away, Huber aboard at second after his RBI single. Hunter Jump, who drew Bourne's first walk of the game, offensively is aboard over at first. Pete putting up a fight. 2-2, and look at that. Peter Burns spoiling some tough 2-strike pitches from Quinn Matthews. Two, and Peter Burns pops this one up. Matt Donlin is right there behind the plate. He makes the catch, and that will end the inning. Well, the Braves get a big run. Ben Huber with an RBI single to right center field. That brings home Tanner Schobel. The Braves get another run. They trail just by 4 now. It's 7-3 as we head to the 5th. You're listening and watching the Bourne Braves YouTube live stream.
Thank you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League. And for
Back up here in the Bourne Braves press box. Calvin, we're going to send it down to you now, and you have a very special guest by your side.
recyclable materials. It takes only 6 recycled plastic bottles to make a new baseball.
Braves Jackson, Daniel Coates back with you. Top of the 5th inning, Cole Chadoba back on the mound. Braves looking for a shutdown inning, just as they had the last time they were on the mound. And to guide you through innings number 5 and 6, it's my partner, Daniel Coates.
Thank you, Reeves. A great 2 innings of play-by-play as always. This one taken high and deep. Will it stay in play? It's drifting left. They call it foul. Holy moly, that was a hard hit ball.
Yeah, Eric Brown tattooed that.
Wow.
That might have been, out of all the foul ball home runs we've seen at Doran Park, that was by far the closest one. You know what that reminded me of? That reminded me of Braylon Wimmer's home run on opening night here. The one that just hooked around the foul pole. That one, though, was indeed foul. Umpires got some help from the Braves bullpen as well. Well, they weren't going to point if it was fair.
Wow. The 0-1. Now 1-1. Eric Brown had a base knock and scored in the 3rd. Chadoba misses on the outside. Eric Brown for the Kettleers batting .282. From Coastal Carolina. The 2-1. Now 2-2. Chadoba looks to be in his comfort zone. 7-3. What I would say is a manageable deficit at the moment. And really, it's a swing of the bat that clears the base path that will get us back in this game in a tie game. Pitching and the defense needs to hold stout. Stays at 2-2. You can slowly feel the Braves' confidence coming back.
Yeah, offensively for sure. And even Chadoba on the mound. You got to get the leadoff hitter, though. That's the biggest thing in every inning for these pitchers. You retire the leadoff hitter, well, it's okay if the next guy reaches. It's hard to work around leadoff guys on base like that.
Brown ropes one up the middle. A leadoff single. And he's thinking 2. Holds back at first, though.
Yeah, I guess the thing you got to be careful with this Cotuit team, they're aggressive on the base pass. EBJ was thinking about pushing that to 2. Joe Lampy and these outfielders have to be on their toes.
That was a laser past Christian Knapczyk.
That was ripped. He's been on Chadoba today, has Eric Brown. Had that single off of him when Chadoba came into the game, and then another base hit. So Eric Brown is seeing the ball tremendously well. Almost had that home run, too, in his first time up.
The kick and the deliver. Now popped foul. The fans scatter the entire hill to our left, filled with fans of all kinds. And Cotuit on the right over the press box on the other side of our broadcast booth, but an impressive showing from this community and just shows how much this series and this game, as well as this team, means to Bourne. The 0-1 from Chadoba. Brown dancing with the lead. It gets away from Peter Burns, but no movement from Brown. He remains at first.
Yeah, Eric Brown, that dude can run. I wouldn't be shocked if he's on the move on this next pitch. 13 stolen bases, 13 for 15 on the season. One of the more speedy guys and tough to catch guys that there are in this Cape League. So wouldn't be shocked here if you see Eric Brown on the move with this pitch and a 1-1 count.
Noah Bridges 1-2. He had a base knock in the 2nd, struck out. There goes Brown, the bunt foul. I wonder if Brown is shaken up a bit at 2nd.
Yeah, looks like his back maybe, or is that his leg?
Looked like he tweaked something. He's making his way back to first. Here comes the trainer. Not exactly sure what happened. Just looked up and Brown looks shaken up at 2nd. He's trotting it off and discussing with the trainer for the Kettleers.
Well, obviously that might hinder him a little bit, at least in this sequence. But Brown 2nd in the Cape League in the regular season with stolen bases. He had 13. Only man that had more was Dom Johnson of the Harbor Hawks.
We saw Johnson Tuesday evening in our final trip to McKeon Park. The last game of the regular season canceled That was our final trip to Gov Fuller Field to face the Falmouth Commodores. The 1-2. Bridges. Brown doesn't go. Hard hit. Ground ball taken to Schobel. He's going to get into first. They got him on the double play.
Something about this Kettleers team in Bourne getting them to bounce into double plays. Love it.
Tanner Schobel doing all the work there. A double play, the second of the game. And I was just going to say, the only way you're really going to get Brown on a double play is if it's incredibly hard hit up the and very much towards second base. That's exactly what happened. Tanner Schobel took it himself, tagged. With Brett Roberts now due up in a breaking ball from Chadoba. He's ahead 0-1.
Love what I've seen here from Cole Chadoba now. He's been fun to watch.
Thought about it, now it's 1-1.
Really, obviously, Chadoba had that walk to Ritter, had the RBI single from Eric Brown, and then the 2-run shot for Martarella. But after that, he's really calmed down. He's throwing strikes. He's locating. Whereas in that first inning, he was just trying to throw strikes, and he was leaving the ball over the plate just like Sansone was. But now Chadoba, you see all these pitches on the corners, the breaking ball. He's locating for strikes, and the fastball being placed perfectly.
1-2. Swing and a miss. Roberts goes down with the cut. Cole Chadoba responding. And the Braves still have a 4-run deficit, but it is a bit more manageable. And we're going to send it down to our Calvin Cristoforo, who has a special guest for you folks at home. He threw out the first pitch, if that's any hint. And Calvin, I'm going to send it to you. Who do you got down there?
FranklinSports.com/custom. Enter code CCDL20 for 20% off of your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball.
Guys, I am down here with a special guest. I got Steve Perrault from the Section 10 podcast, WEEI. Steve, you threw out tonight's ceremonial first pitch.
Yes.
I knew there was a lot of decisions going through your head on the approach.
Yep.
So walk me through what that final decision was.
So essentially, I went into it with one of two ideas. It was either going to be heat or I was going to be cool and just do one of those, hey, here we go, thank you guys for having me. I went somewhere in between. It ended up being high, but I think it was good enough. It wasn't it's not in the dirt, which is very important. So it was good enough, and that's all that really matters.
Okay, so it was high. If you had to do it again,
yes,
what approach would you take?
I wasn't looking, and this sounds stupid, but I wasn't looking at the plate because I was doing all this stuff where it's like,
look fancy.
Yeah, I was trying to look over to first. There's nobody on first. This guy's all right. We almost had someone get hurt. But no, I was doing too much of the theatrics. I would care more about looking at the catcher, following through, and making sure I don't sail to the backstop.
So you needed a target. You need to look at your target and hone in.
I only honed in for the last, 1 second, and I could tell in the footage. I watched a lot of the footage afterwards, and I could tell last second I kind of, come down a little bit. But next time, hopefully I can do it again. I will look at the target more.
Okay, so you'll review the tape, you'll adjust, you'll look at the target more.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your time in the Cape. How long have you been a fan of the Cape Cod League, and talk about your start and your experience with the league?
Yeah, I'm 30 American years old now, so I've been a fan since the mid-'90s. I've been going to games with my dad for a long time. We had a place in Harwich, so we went to a lot of Harwich Mariners games. The Chatham A's, when they were the A's before they were the Anglers. We went to a lot of those games. So I've been coming to Cape League games for a long time. I mean, you love the atmosphere. This is the best. It's hard to beat this. It's also free, which is great, but it's some of the best amateur talent you're going to ever see. I love seeing these guys then in the pros afterwards. Tim Lincecum was one of the guys we followed closely. He goes on to win a couple Cy Youngs and 3 rings. So nothing beats the Cape League, and I'm happy I got to throw out the first pitch. I mean, this is kind of a full circle moment for me, so this is pretty cool.
Absolutely. You talked about the atmosphere, but where does the Doran Park atmosphere rank in your power rankings of Cape atmospheres?
It's up there. I like it a lot. I like the Braves chants. I like the chop. Everything that happens here feels genuine. It doesn't feel forced. If we're talking parks, this park is clean. The field is very well kept. You can tell it's relatively new. I remember going to the old Bourne Park when Kevin Youkilis was playing there. But this is a very good park. and they do a good job of keeping it up. Some of the Cape League parks, I won't name them, don't do a great job of keeping a good field. This is perfect. This is a really good ballpark, and it feels like a Cape League park, which is good.
Okay, but before I let you go, Braves down 7-3 here, 3-game series. I got to get your prediction here.
Yeah.
Do you think the Braves have a chance to come back? And if they don't, can they steal tomorrow on the road in the back here at Dorn Park on Sunday?
Because you guys had me throw out the first pitch, I'm now a Bourne Braves fan, and I am obviously pulling for you guys to come back. I got to say, didn't look great early, but now you're only down 4. Got 4 innings left. There's a chance you win this one. Playing in Cotuit isn't easy. That's a good atmosphere. The Kettleers have a lot of diehard fans, so it's going to be hard to get Game 2 there if you lose this one. But I have faith in the Bourne Braves, and I'm now a diehard Bourne Braves fan.
All right, Steve Perrault, diehard Bourne Braves fan for life. Steve, thanks so much for the time.
Absolutely appreciate it. That was
All right,
good, man.
thank you.
We are back with a new pitcher, his first appearance, Hector Alejandro. And we appreciate the interview from Calvin with Steve Perrault, the host of the Section 10 podcast. He threw out the first pitch tonight, a special guest on a special night at Doran Park. Alejandro from UConn, the first appearance for him for the Braves comes in quite a time. Cole Chadoba's day is done, and the Braves still trail by 4. Top of the 6th. First pitch taken to right. The diving Colby Thomas unable to get by. There goes the throw. Joe Lampe, the tag, not there. A first pitch double off of Hector Alejandro.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that is scored. See if they scored a single and an error by Colby and right. We've seen that as the official scoring before from Mr. Bob. We'll see here.
A tough play for Colby Thomas. It was a complete gapper the entire way, except Colby has shown us flashes of brilliance in the outfield with some diving catches throughout the season. Here comes Suggs. He's showing bunt. He pulls back. It's still a strike.
Yeah, it's going to go as a double, as you mentioned there, for Martarella. I think that's the correct scoring.
Check swing. It's going to drop into the zone nonetheless. 0-2. No outs. A Kettleer in Nathan Martarella at second. Oh, 2. Foul. As we mentioned earlier, Brewster going up 1-0 on the Harwich Mariners, defeating them by a score of 2-0.
Yeah, how about that? So Brewster one step closer, getting back to a CCBL championship round.
The 0-2. Check swing. Did he go? He's going down to first. No throw necessary. 1 out. First strikeout for Hector Alejandro comes at the hands of Matthew Suggs, who homered back in the second. Matt Donlin with a man at second. This will be his third appearance to the plate. 0-2. Flew out to left field, popped up to Christian Knapczyk at second. Tanner Schobel covering Martarella at second.
Yeah, obviously a good job there by Alejandro. Works around the leadoff double by Martarella. Big strikeout of the 8-hole hitter Suggs. And now you work after the bottom part of this order, the very bottom part of the order in Donlin, before you turn it back over to the ever so hot Jace Grady, although 0-2 on the day.
The 9-spot hitter takes a breaking ball for ball 1 on the inside.
Just another Yukon product on this team in Alejandro. 6'1", 215-pounder, a junior out of Waterbury, Connecticut.
1-0 taken hard. Max Anderson's way. It gets by. Here comes Martarella. The throw from jump. Not going to go home, and another Kettleers scores. It's 8-3.
Yeah, tough blow right there for the Braves. You know, down 7-3. You really can't allow many more runs, if any, to score in this game if you're going to try to mount a comeback, and that's a painful run. Just kind of sticks the dagger in even further. Still very much in reach, but that's a run you would have liked to not have score, and it happens so fast.
Only 1 out.
So not a great start for Alejandro.
Top 6, Jace Grady at the top of the order, and that was one that I'm sure Alejandro and Max Anderson wants back, because now you're dealing with the top of the order of the Kettleers in Jace Grady, who's as hot as any batter, and he proves it once again. A base knocked down the left field line. It continues to rattle around that corner. Out there is Hunter Jump. Here comes Matt Donlin. He's going to score easily, and standing up is Jace Grady with a 1-out double. RBI for the 1 spot. 9-3, Cotuit up.
Yeah, they're all over Alejandro here, just piecing him up. Martarella had the double, Donlin with the single past the diving Anderson, and then Jace Grady, who, if you go back to the regular season, now on a 9-game hitting streak, and an RBI double down the line. Not a great start here for Hector Alejandro. Alejandro redshirted in 2021. He was pitching in the NECBL before coming up to the Cape for some much-needed bullpen help. I obviously think Harvey Shapiro looking at the situation as, well, we can use Alejandro. We would never use him up in the game for his first appearance. So down in the game, hoping he can keep the lead. And
there goes Jace Grady stealing third. Easily.
Yeah, that was an easy steal for Jace Grady. Well, this is a Kettleers team that loves to run.
Roberts continuing his aggressive trend on the base path. Showing bunt, he gets it down. Carter Trice unable to handle it. Alejandro allows another run. It's 10-3. Cotuit has reached double-digit runs.
We talked about it. We talked about it at the top of the broadcast. Cotuit's going to run, and they're going to bunt. And Mike Roberts so famously with those safety squeezes with less than 2 outs. He laces one down here, and that play is almost undefendable. It's so hard to defend that play. The only play is at first Alejandro tried to go to the plate. You were never going to get Jace Grady at the plate. The move there was to go to first base, and Alejandro, who isn't really changing up his timing much either, is That was Figueroa, who's now in the game at third base with a beautiful bunt. And almost took second on Alejandro there.
Figueroa from the University of Arkansas. 0-1 count. Ryan Ritter showed bunt, unable to get it down. It's a foul ball, 0-1. And again, this crowd just very much in shock by what is going on here at Doran Park. The Braves only with 9 losses in the regular season, 24-9-3 coming into this game. And they're down big to their rival 10-3, the Cotuit Kettleers. Now 0-2 off a foul ball from Alejandro. Got to imagine Harvey Shapiro is going to stick with him through this inning, as this game seems to be getting a bit out of hand. And it got out of hand from the get-go. A double play bailed out Sansone, and a deep drive from Ryan Ritter. Or Eric Brown, excuse me, I should say. Ended the first, and then 3 runs scored. Now 1-2.
Yeah, obviously, we'll stick with Alejandro as now Figueroa runs, and that's going to be a base hit. Wow, Daniel.
By Anderson once again. Jump handles it in the outfield. First and third, a base knock for Ryan Ritter. Again, he adds on to his average coming into the game. Batting at .330, leading the Kettleers.
Yeah, I don't know if Alejandro should make it through this half frame. From Harvey Shapiro, I'm thinking about maybe an alternative option in that Braves bullpen, because this is getting out of hand fast. Now 12 hits, 10 runs for Cotuit, a 3-run sixth. And all of a sudden the Braves with a 7-run deficit again. All those 3 runs for naught.
Fastball high. Eric Brown having quite the day. He started the day, ending the first inning, a fly out to left, and his 2 base knocks in a row. One of them he scored, that was in the third, where the Cotuit Kettleers scored 4 in the top of the third. Breaking ball, catching the zone inside, 1-1.
Yeah, but if you're Alejandro here, you just got to bear down here, make your pitches. There's now Brown digging in with a 1-1 count. This dude has been red hot today. A deep fly out to the warning track, 2 singles. He's been seeing the ball extremely well.
The throw from Burns. The tag, he's safe. Surprised there was no go by Figueroa at third. But Ryan Ritter steals another base for the Kettleers. The Cotuit side is feeling it right now. Double-digit runs, 10-3 on 12 hits, compared to the 4 for the Braves. Every time these two square off, it seems to be a bloodbath from one side. Hard hit down the left field line. It's drifting foul, and it's called foul, but barely. Out of sight of our cameras, it just drops to the left of the chalk. It stays at 2-2 with 1 out. 2 men in scoring position. It's getting ugly here in a game where the Braves only trailed by 4 at a time. And now 3 runs scored in the top of the 6th. Exactly what we did not need. Hard hit down the line, foul again. Anderson getting peppered at third. And if the game continues this way, pending a Game 1 loss for the Braves, we're going to be traveling to Lowell Park, where we dropped a 13-2 loss in our last visit.
Yeah, exactly. It's been it's been almost been a back and forth of the blowouts. 13-2 Cotuit, 13-1 Bourne, now 10-3 Cotuit.
2-2 popped up to Knapczyk. Routine infield fly for out number 2.
Well, I think obviously you made a good comment, Daniel, when Ritter went to second base. Figueroa easily could have scored, when Burns threw that ball down there, with Figueroa's speed at least. I think Mike Roberts, though, was hoping maybe not to run into an out at home with Eric Brown at the plate. You're arguably one of your best hitters, if not top 2 hitters on the team, another one being Ryan Ritter. But it ends up not working out as Brown pops out, and the Braves can escape here with an out of Noah Bridges with 3 runs across and still trailing by 7.
Alejandro swing and a miss on a high fastball. Noah Bridges back at the plate for the 4th time. He singled in the 2nd, struck out in the 3rd, and grounded into a double play to Tanner Schobel back in the 5th. 0-1 for Alejandro, who's thrown into some hot water in his first appearance for the Braves. 1-1.
Yeah, he has been. Obviously, came into the game fresh, gave up the double to Martarella. They struck out Suggs, and then RBI single from Donlin, and then the RBI double from Grady. And then the bunt by Figueroa brought home Grady, who stole 3rd. So things spiraling out of control here for Hector Alejandro here in the 6th inning.
1-1, great breaking ball.
Well, Daniel, if the Braves are going to be unsuccessful in their comeback tonight, we think tonight was tough. Tomorrow is about 10 times tougher. When you go to Lowell Park and you have that crowd with this momentum now in the hands of Cotuit, with this offense, the way they're swinging the bat, and the really only saving grace the Braves have at the moment.
Figueroa coming home and gets away from Burns. 11-3.
Yeah, just not a good pitch. Bounced the breaking ball. Nothing Burns can do about it. And a rough inning and a rough first appearance here for Alejandro. But the only saving grace the Braves have is, well, they have their best starting pitcher on the mound tomorrow, I'd say, in Austin Parsley. Austin has been phenomenal this season. Michael Sansone has been phenomenal too, but at the end of the day, I think velocity wins in the playoffs. And Sansone, as you mentioned earlier in the broadcast tonight, had that game at Wareham in which he gave up 4 runs, and you were looking for a bounce-back performance, but not the case for Sansone.
Hard hit up the middle. That's going to score another Kettleer. Ryan Ritter scores from 3rd. A base knock, RBI single from Noah Bridges. Alejandro struggling in his first appearance. It is now 12-3. Cotuit coming in meaning business against the 1-spot Bourne Braves.
Yeah, now Brett Roberts and the Kettleers 1 hitter away from having batted around in the 6th inning. And, well, Daniel, we've seen many crazy comebacks. I don't know about 9 runs. Good throw.
The throw.
Oh,
it's safe.
Wow. Now, Harvey Shapiro's not happy.
Harvey Shapiro stagnant down the 3rd base line. Here he comes.
Yeah, I don't blame Harvey. That looked like a perfect throw by Peter Burns, and even better tag by Knapczyk. I don't know what the second base umpire missed. Obviously, he's got a much better vantage point than we do, but at least from up here in Harvey Shapiro's vantage point, he appeared to be out.
Shapiro out to argue for his defense. It might be short-lived, and it is. He goes back. Oh, he has a couple more words.
Yeah, some parting words, this Harvey. I tell you what, Daniel, there's 2 managers in this league in which I would not want to be confronted by in a situation like this. One would be Harvey Shapiro, 1A would be Mike Roberts. Maybe flip-flop that, but.
We've seen both of their passions as head coaches, one coming with that ground rule double. And I'll tell you what, if this game was closer, we'd be looking back on that play with some question marks.
Close eyes, a magnifying glass on that particular moment.
1-1, a tough go for Peter Burns this half inning. Having to deal with a couple of wild pitches and a tough call on a throw down to second where Noah Bridges advances to second base. High fly ball. Looks like it's Tanner Schobel's way. A pop fly. This could end the inning, and it does. Pop fly to Tanner Schobel at short, but the Kettleers score 5 in the top of the sixth. We're going to the bottom of the sixth. The Braves have major work on their hands. They're down 9 in the game 1 of this best-of-3 West Division playoff series.
Along the third baseline and in the gift shop.
1-2 taken to the center fielder. The dive. That's going to get by him. Tanner Schobel gets by Jace Grady. Holds up at first. A tough play, as we were just talking with a couple of people about as Reeves can discuss, about the theme of this season and what it means for the Cape League, as Tanner Schobel responds in a attempt to mount a 9-run comeback, and Roberts coming out. I think Quinn Matthews' day might be done.
Yeah, he's going to talk it over with him and gets the ball. I'll tell you what, Quinn Matthews is going to get a big-time ovation from the Cotuit faithful. That's maybe the last time we see Quinn Matthews in a Cotuit uniform. Get some hugs. Maybe not if they go to the championship, but in case it is, he gets the hugs, and Cotuit's got a new pitcher coming in.
We'll tell you about the new pitcher in just a few moments, trotting in from right field.